Before we start, really quick, so you guys ever like have someone that is a little rough around the edges per se? You're just starting to meet them, and they have a few kind of warning signs, or they seem a little off, kind of, but not. You can't quite put your finger on it, and you're with a group of friends, and then end up at their house, and so then you're checking around, and then you go and you see a family photo, and you see someone who's likely their parent, and then you notice that the parent's eyes. The left eye is looking at the right frame of the picture, and the right eye is looking at the left frame of the picture. And you go, huh, okay, this explains a lot. Ladies and gentlemen, this is The World According to Kyle podcast. How are you doing, everybody? How is it going? I'm fucking fantastic. Just a little quick housekeeping before we get going. You can catch me on YouTube at Kyle Max. You can catch me on Twitter at Kyleverse. You can catch me on Instagram at KyleMax86, on Facebook at Kyle Max, Reddit TWA2K. I will start taking questions for the show. If you have any questions that you would like answered, ladies, you can slide into my DMs, and guys, you can DM me. Also, very big important announcement. In addition to my YouTube, I now have distribution on major podcast platforms. So if you want to listen to me, you want to DL me for the road or what have you, you can find me on Apple Pod, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Castbox, Deezer, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, and GeoSavan. Yes, sir! Big things on the horizon at TWA2K. Without further ado, let's get right into it. Okay, man, where to start? So much fucked up news in the world, but let's kick it off with a little sports talk. And I do know the Olympic ceremonies have just ended. I really have nothing to say on the matter, because if not giving a fuck about the Olympics was the Olympic sport, I would win so much gold. I would win like least time watched, least amount of thought given, maybe even most irrational hatred for the Olympics. And you know what? I don't know. It's just maybe the way I was raised, in the Western hemisphere of the world, where kind of the kids who played, who got good at these rogue sports, like paddle sports and fucking curling and shit. They were always the kids who just got decided to get super good at something because they they couldn't play the popular sports like football, hockey, baseball, etc. As far as I'm concerned, I would rather be a bad player or a mediocre player in a sport that people like than to be a great player in a sport no one gives a fuck about, 95% of the time, until the Olympics come on and all of a sudden their geographic chauvinism has to sprout, and go country, go team, even though I don't fucking pay attention to this shit the rest of the time of the year. So, I ain't gonna talk about anything I don't fucking know or care about. So, let's talk about things that I do know and care about, which is American football. So, as you may have known, I am a big Bengals fan, and the Super Bowl just concluded. You know what? It's a little bittersweet because you know, we should not have made it really that far. We overperformed expectations. So now you got to kind of sit back and assess what happened and where the where how did we overperform expectations yet end up coming up short in the long run. Now, the quick point to is the offensive line, which clearly was an issue. I'm not going to lie, but I want to give a shout out to Frank Pollock, the former Colts offensive line coordinator or offensive line coach. Uh, I thought that he did an incredible job, making something out of not much. I'm not gonna say make something out of nothing. There are some decent pieces on the Bengals line. Some people played their ass off, and there were injuries, but one or two injuries shouldn't be the death of your offensive line. So that is first and foremost. Uh, Shout out to Frank Pollock for an incredible job. I could not be happier having him on our side. I think we got, the Bengals have one of the better teams in the NFL, and people are writing them off right away because of their deficiencies. Now, I think they're so fucking close, man. With Burrow, you always have a shot. Even fucking we even almost won the Super Bowl. It was down to the last drive. If Burrow picks up, if Tyler Boyd, what what a time to make your first drop of the season, right? Like Boyd's usually money. Boyd made like something like 67 or 68 catches in a row before before that drop. But that's the thing. I mean, we are going to attract the free agents. We're going to get the free agents. Um, Mike Brown wants to bring a championship to this city. So now I want to go over the one maybe. So I want to go over the one thing that maybe people are overlooking in this situation. At least the Bengals fans that I'm subscribed to on Twitter might be underlooking in the situation. Is the coaching. Now the DC has been incredible. The DC has fucking like been a fucking a tremendous jump in the Bengals. And the Bengals, he's done a great job, A, getting the guys, and B, making them work together as a defensive unit. The types of like guys they were signing, that they just did such a good job with. Hilton, Chidobe, Awuzie. Even Eli Apple had some decent moments. I thought he did a great job. So the one thing I would point to, besides the obvious offensive lineman, is the head coach and the OC, the offensive coordinator. There were times where I was beyond where the Bengals play calling on offense was beyond predictable. Where it was just like, they were just kind of going through the motions. Like a lot of their wins came from comebacks in the second half in the playoffs, and a lot of them were down significantly. I think that they had no business with what they with the offensive firepower that they had to just be down so much in these games against like teams with obvious weaknesses and needing to come back. Like, to me, this is Joe Burrow and the offense, succeeding despite the coaching. Um, and the coaching kind of not, they're Zach Taylor and the OC, they can coach with their backs to the wall when they need to, when they really need to, when they're really like in do or die mode, but they need to get in that mode all game. They just have to fucking learn how to put their boots to the throat and fucking stomp on it. Like, that is what they need to do, and they're not doing it. And their play calling is so fucking vanilla, and it's boring, and it's predictable. They do not use motion enough. They're not using. They're not like using chase to help motion chase to help read the defenses, whether they're in man or zone coverage, to be able to help Burrow. Uh, and a lot, and you could point to the last play where Chase was open, but Joe Burrow did not have the time to get to him. Yes, I know, but I mean, the Bengals should be, a lot more threatening on offense. Right now, they were waiting for the defenses to step up before they got the offenses going. The defense was a more solid unit as far as producing big game changing plays. If it wasn't for these, batted up balls by Hilton and catching them for interceptions and shit, like we wouldn't be in there. So you know, I wasn't a fan of the extension for Taylor. Granted, I think that is a little bit of jumping the gun. I definitely don't think he should have been fired after that. I definitely think that I would give him at least another year, but I need to see improvement. I need to see motion. I need to see a lot more motion. A lot more movement. Like, it's like when I'm watching the game, it's like, okay, it's very predictable, and like there's a few drives that I'm able to point out where it's just like, okay, that was in Zach Taylor and the OC have had good spots where I've been impressed by what they were doing, but it's too few and far between, and I don't think they're really getting the most out of that offense. Heartbreaking. But I think Cincy fans are happy to be in the spot where they're in. I mean, I'm happy to be a Bengals fan right now. Overall, not that much to complain about, and despite my criticisms, that I don't think they're beyond repair. Okay, especially with the head coach and OC. I think they can. Step it up. They have to get cutthroat. They have to get cutthroat, and they have to get unconventional. They have to learn to do the things on the downs that the defenses aren't expecting. Like with Burrow, what you're working with is just a guy who's so smart and so and can dissect defenses if he's just given an inch, and he will take that. And we need to stop being so vanilla and like, let's run on first down, and if we pick up a few yards, then we're going to have a short pass on second down. And then if we don't get that pass, then we're going to have a long pass. Like, it's so predictable. You got to keep the defenses guessing. When I'm watching the game, and I'm just like, okay, obviously they're going to run on this first down. What do you think? And I'm just a fucking I'm not a football coach. I'm just a fan watching it. What do you think an actual coach is watching when he sees this? You know. Now, enough about my pity party over the Bengals loss. I want to give a shout out to the Rams, and a shout out to the Rams for what they did and the fuck them picks, unconventional team building strategy. It was a bold approach. Let me just say that, and picking up Stafford, giving up 2 first-round picks for Matt Stafford. And ending up doing what they did was and winning the Super Bowl and being all in and winning the Super Bowl so rarely works out, and that's a testament to the unconventional team building strategy that they had, which a lot of teams do not opt for. They do not opt to get rid of all their picks and basically go all in to try and win a Super Bowl. And they recognized with Jared Goff that he just wasn't enough to get the job done, and Stafford was just enough of a level up of an improvement to be able to get the job done if they got it there, and they did, which is and they did it without a running game also. So amazing job by the Rams. And this is what I was worried about. I said before on the prior podcast that I thought the Rams were a bad matchup for the Bengals. I thought that they were the worst possible matchup that could have came out of the NFC, and I liked anybody out of the NFC came to play the Bengals, I would have liked the Bengals. And now, sometimes with my social media presence, I get a bit confused. Like, I don't know. I might have just said this to one of my friends. I might have put this out in the Twitter ethos, but I do owe an apology to Odell Beckham Jr. because I kind of fronted the idea that Odell Beckham leaving Cleveland may have been like a Ewing theory type of thing, which fuck was I wrong about that. Odell Beckham Jr. was amazing in this playoffs, and I don't know if the Rams would have won had they not had him in their back pocket. And shout out to him, he deserves it. He's an incredible player who ate shit with fucking shit teams for so long. New York Giants post Super Bowl, Eli Manning, Daniel Jones, on to fucking Cleveland with Baker Mayfield, eating shit, getting pooped on, all that, and then finally making it to LA and providing an amazing role as a role player, and making some massive plays when it counted. Sucks that he got injured, but he was a very important part in the LA Rams taking it home. Which, I mean, a little bit disappointing to see such a non-existent fan base win a Super Bowl. Granted, Bengals fans are fucking live and loud. I'm subscribed to so many great Bengals fans on Twitter. Commissioner Yass, Ace Boogie, Joe Goodberry, the Bengals captain, the Bengalorian. Like, man, so many great Bengals fans. But I mean, I'm sure they're happy that they were still able to celebrate their team. Their team broke the curse of not winning a playoff game for 31 years. And you know what? The future looks bright. So, I'm a little disappointed to see the LA. Like, did LA even know they won? They won a Super Bowl? Like, like if a tree falls in the forest and no one is fucking paying attention, like, did it actually happen? Um, you know, and it so there was like that with the LA Super Bowl party where the chick just like fell off the stage and fucking like fractured her spine, and then that was a bad look on Stafford, man. Stafford just ooh, and then just fucking and then just walks away. Like, come on, Stafford, man. Like, fucking like, that's not my quarterback right there. Like, holy shit, man. And then people were giving him excuses like, if you're drunk, man. Like, I've been drunk a lot before, and no one would make me want, like, if a fucking chick fell off like a fucking like, 3 foot stage and or 3 meter stage and fucking collapsed on the ground, like, I've been drunk a lot. I don't think I would have just walked away. I would have to be like vomiting on like projectile vomiting to be able to not give a shit. But hey, that's just what alcohol does. It unmasks the person that you really are. And that's why, like, sometimes I've been drunk and I never fucking get into any situations because I'm just not a piece of shit person. So, the alcohol just unmasks, the side of me that I'm really not that worried about because, I'm not a piece of shit human being. So I don't have all that much to worry about when I get plastered. But, you know, huge win. Huge win, massive win for neckbeards. Okay. I've never seen a neckbeard win, have a W quite this big. Have you? When the last time a neckbeard had a W as big as fucking leading the team to a Super Bowl? So huge win for neckbeards across the globe. Another huge win was a Super Bowl halftime show. And I know, like, yeah, it's like older songs, whatever, but that's kind of the type of music I grew up with. And it was like, it wasn't super political. It was just a dope show, having Snoop, doing his fucking Crip Walk, having fucking Dre, kicking out the old school jams, Mary J. Blige, 50 Cent, Eminem, Kendrick Lamar. Like, it was good, man. It was like, I don't know how much more you could have asked for a halftime show. You have like one or two acts there, and then then they just play 1 minute of a bunch of their songs, and that's all right. But then for this, you have like they do pretty much one or two of their good songs, and it's multiple artists. It was a great halftime show. I mean, you really couldn't go wrong. That is about the best you can get from a halftime show. Wasn't super political, which is great because I don't need fucking politics involved in my goddamn Super Bowl or or in my football. And it was just good. It was easy going. I don't know how you could really complain about that sort of halftime show. So 2 back-to-back halftime shows that were pretty good. And the Super Bowl commercials also very good. There were a few that really stuck out to me. The cable guy, the reemergence of Jim Carrey as the cable guy, Doctor Evil, the Mike Myers, they brought the Austin Powers squad back for Doctor Evil. the Sopranos, Meadow and AJ with the "Got Yourself a Gun" with the Chevy, the Chevy Equinox commercial. But even better than a halftime show, better than any other commercial. Probably since the Rams won, it was probably my favorite moment of the Super Bowl was the Larry David FTX Super Bowl commercial. Oh my god. What a man, it was almost like an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm. I like having Larry as like the historical figure where the guy comes up with like an amazing idea and Larry Dave's I don't know. I don't think it's good, man. And having just Larry David as the same person throughout time, discrediting these in hindsight obvious wins of inventions. That was just mwah. And I'm into crypto, but I actually have the FTX app on my phone. It's not one that I am currently using. There's so many ways to go about doing crypto, but man, that was just a fucking that was an 11 out of 10 Super Bowl commercial. Please, if you're a fan of Larry David's work, Seinfeld, Curb Your Enthusiasm, then please check out that commercial. Check out the Larry David FTX Super Bowl commercial. So yeah, kind of sucks that it's done and over with, but yeah, all good things must come to an end. I'm very excited about what the years to come have in store for the Bengals. I'm glad that a lot of Bengals shit talkers are sitting here eating crow. You can go back to my prior episodes where I was saying that the Bengals hatred and the Bengals organizational hatred was completely irrational, and people who hate on the Bengals organization but are not hating on Cleveland and who are not hating on Miami and who are not hating on a bunch of other organizations, it kind of reeks of some sort of bias against the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, just a couple other quick TWA2K sports categories before we move on from the sports section. I would like to welcome Chad Kelly and Machine Gun Kelly to Canada because he has now signed for the Toronto Argonauts. I was a big fan of Chad Kelly in college. Really thought he, kind of got a raw deal in the NFL. Now, some of it was his own wrongdoing, but every time he stepped on the field, I thought he was, looked great. He looked great for the Colts. When I seen him, I thought he should have got it a shot with Denver. He looked good in the preseason and a couple other starts with Denver. He certainly would have been better than fucking what's his nuts, whoever they I can't even remember his name. The guy other than Teddy Bridgewater. I've successfully erased him from my memory. That's how fucking Drew Lock. That's how bad he was. Okay, yeah, he was definitely better than Drew Lock. I'm excited to see him in Canada. I am a little worried that I'm trying to think of what a good over-under is on how long it's going to be before he gets arrested because our laws in Canada are a lot different than in the United States. So hopefully he gets his shit together. I thought he was a great prospect. I thought he had good talent, and I love seeing him play football. And the only other thing I want to mention before we're done this is, I know the guys at Pardon My Take, they thought they were woke to the negatives of Tony Romo, but I was woke to him even before even before them, which was quite a fucking. While everybody was sucking Tony Romo's dick, I'm just like, you know what? I like that he knows a lot about football, but I don't like being told what exactly is going to happen on the play. Like, I like my commentators to let the game breathe. And, like, if you have to say something, say something. But I don't like to be told, like, what I'm going to see before I see it. And, NFL coaches are fucking stupid. Half the time he's fucking wrong anyway. So, what's the point of sitting here trying to say, oh, this, like, I mean, just let the fucking game breathe, man. Like, it's so fucking annoying. It's so annoying to just like, and that's where he's too much player and not enough broadcaster. Granted, there are a lot worse. There are a lot worse play-by-play guys that you can get, but I mean, I what do I want in a play-by-play guy? I just want someone who's gonna do play-by-play, not do pre-play by play-by-play. And when something kind of silly happens, and when something stupid happens that everybody can clearly see, and to just call it out, but don't sit here and try and like predict what's going to happen before the play. That's not really letting the football play out. That's just kind of like predicting play calling. You know. So now moving on, it would be a disservice to my audience if I did not talk about the gigantic fucking elephant, roaring elephant in the room, which is the Canadian trucker, the Canadian Karen convoy, as my dusty cult of Dusty would would call it. So I figured how am I gonna start this? Like I'm all about principles over politics. I find that I use politics and politicians and political parties. I find most people are used by politicians and politics and political parties. Um, why are people used by them? Well, they do what they say. They only lean to one side or the other. If they're on the right, then they're only going to do what the right says. If they're on the left, and they're only going to follow the left and do what the left says. I would like to come out as the world's first apolitical podcast where I'm just going to stick with principles, and I'm not going to just blindly follow a leaning of the aisle. Now, for the last little while, now our politics and our political division has gotten to be incredibly toxic, and it is not helpful. We are being divided by politicians. Politics are dividing us, and it's done intentionally. It's done because think about all the institutions and the world, all the organizations and establishments in the world. Politics are the only thing that hasn't evolved for fucking centuries. Like, besides religion, which, I mean, nobody can seriously argue like that religion has been like religion is like speaking something that's helpful to 21st century people, right? Like it's kind of just there. It hasn't really evolved, and people just kind of do it because it's all that they're used to. But politics have been gotten just out of control. Um, we have to find a better way beyond what we're doing right now. Having picking between one idiot and another idiot is not some form of freedom. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to inform you that if you think voting between one corporate elected moron and another corporate elected moron, so I play sides off against each other, and that's what I do because that's the only option available. Because I know eventually these guys are going to sell me out down the road, and they're going to go against their principles. They're going to sell out for money, etc. But you know what I'm done with right now is people complaining about the fucking established media, these internet news fucking places that are complaining about the established media. And they're far more corrupt and worse than the established media. They're producing, at least the established media was not producing this sort of conspiratorial insanity. Like, I couldn't imagine the fringe is all of a sudden the fringe is all of a sudden like a fucking like mainstream thinking, uh despite the fact that no political party really is willing to go and say that and say that these vaccines are bad. Like none of the Canadian the Canadian politicians are willing to say. Even the conservative politicians are willing to go against the vaccines. But meanwhile, we have such a meanwhile they're listening to like internet news and is that which are telling you complete horseshit, and then that's prevailing, like the prevailing narrative. Like the internet is turning far worse and they're becoming what they used to think of themselves as better than. They used to think of themselves as a better alternative than CNN and MSNBC and all this shit. Well, you're getting bad information and you're getting misinformation, and you're being stuck inside of like echo chambers, anti-science echo chambers, and there's just, I think, like, if we don't find a way beyond this, we're in a lot of fucking trouble. We are in a lot of fucking trouble because, I think if this pandemic was a little bit worse, we would have really been fucked. If there was like a little higher of a death rate, we would have really, really been fucked. And now, like, there's so much, the Convoy comparing themselves to Black Lives Matter. You know what I look for when I'm trying to give support to or not support a cause. I look for where the people are dying. Okay, so the Black Lives Matter protests were protesting a killing of an innocent civilian by a government worker in cold blood. Okay, so if you want to say like I'm the Jews in the concentration camps, okay, where are the people dying? Okay, shit ton of people dying in the U.S. more than any other place in the world from COVID, and you want to say that you are the victims in this? You are protesting for the right to kill more people. Okay, you are not the fucking good guys. You are upset that you can't go fucking fornicate in the streets or whatever it is you have to do during whatever it is that's more important to do in a pandemic than protecting your fellow brothers and sisters. And you want to, like, it's the right is so fucking is so shook by the left and the success of the left that they are trying to paint themselves as these martyrs and victims when there are real dead fucking victims from the misinformation that you provided. If you want to sit here and make comparisons about Nazis and who's the Nazis and shit, where are the dead bodies? Where are the fucking bodies? Okay, that's all I'm concerned of. And whose misinformation is leading to more deaths? Okay, that is what matters. Where are the people fucking dying? Okay, and as far as these protests go, these Canadian trucker protests, I will have nothing to do with any protest that would not immediately go up to a group of people carrying a swastikas or Confederate flags or fucking Tea Party flags and not immediately confront them and tell them to get that shit off, okay? Get that shit down. Apparently, these guys felt pretty cool about that and about having Nazis or people who think of themselves as Nazis around because that's just cool, right? Having they're so tolerant that they're so tolerant they don't mind fucking people with swastikas up. No, fuck that. Now, it's kind of it's a little bit dividing me in the sense because I feel like Canada would be better off with an more American styled government. I want to pay less in taxes. I don't want to give my money to this idiot government that is just wanting to reinforce bureaucracy and suffocate Canadians in red tape. This is the one thing that I do not think is worthy of a protest. I do not think it is worthy to protest mandates during a goddamn pandemic. For me, that is the one thing that you need the government for. You don't need the government to tell casinos how to operate. You don't need the government to tell this person to pay this much more in tax than that person. You don't need the government to tell you all these fucking little procedural things about how your business is to operate. That is not what a fucking government is for. That is what if you want to bring up all these things, you should have brought them up before the pandemic. The pandemic is something that we needed government mandates for. We needed to close the borders. We needed to have a stronger response because now, so this is the one time where you needed that. And generally speaking, I'm for a lot of libertarian light causes, but I think what this pandemic finally proved is that libertarianism is dead, and this was the death of libertarianism. That that people are too stupid to be able to truly have freedom. Because if you have freedom, you need to be responsible as fuck. And as we've seen, as we have proven, when people are left to their own devices and giving any sort of liberty about a situation, they will be irresponsible as fuck if it does not do anything to directly benefit them. Now, Canada is fucked, and it is not the fault of the pandemic, and it's not the response of the pandemic why Canada is fucked. It is everything before that has led up to this pandemic. We should be competing with the United States right now. Instead, we're the fucking laughing stock of the world. And that has nothing to do with the pandemic. It has everything to do with what has led up to the pandemic. Reduce taxes, cut red tape, let entrepreneurs decide what is best for their business, cut pointless bureaucracy and fire pointless appointed positions. Okay? That is what Canada needs to do. Okay? That is what Canada does not care about. They want the tax money coming in, and they want the bureaucrats funneling money out to horseshit mental health causes, which nobody really knows how to fix, or nobody really knows what to do. They just we need to be in competition with the United States. We need to be a less dickish version of the U.S., a less fuck you version of the United States. We need to be just U.S. light, and Canada will flourish instead of trying to be some semi-socialist, retarded fucking cousin of America. Now, another problem that is wrong with Canada, if I may be so bold, is that speaking French and Canadian fluently is required in order to be Prime Minister of Canada. Now, I felt that Kevin O'Leary would have been a terrific prime minister, but he could not essentially get nominated because he was only fluent in English. Now, I know what you're gonna say. This is because, I only want a English-speaking person as a prime minister. No, I don't. If there's a person who only speaks French that would make a great prime minister, fucking elect him. I don't care. We can translate quite easily. It's not that big of a deal. If there's a fucking person who spoke fluently Spanish but didn't know good English, as long as they have the right ideas and the right vision for Canada and the right way to make our country, who gives a fuck? You know what? This whole English-French thing, and like only 1% of the population can speak fluently English and French. It's a lot of mental energy to waste your time knowing the exact same words in a different language that you know in one language already. So you have less brain space for other things. Now, Trudeau is a horrible leader. I did not elect him. I thought it would be a nightmare. It is a nightmare, but let's be honest. I mean, if any of the other conservatives would have been elected during this time, would anything have been any different? No, it likely would have been worse. So the problems really aren't with Trudeau or Trudeau or Turdno or Trudeau. Yeah. The problems aren't really with him. The problems are with Canada in itself, and the fact that we give too much value to these government and the bureaucratic institutions, and we're really fucking over our economy by doing so, and we're missing a chance to really do something great. So, I don't know what the easy answer is. But I know it's not partnering with Nazis, and it's not partnering with Canadian Confederates, and it's not sucking the dick of our government. I know that these are none of the answers. So I would support a movement that came up from the grassroots if it really had freedom in mind. But I can tell these movements are not pro freedom, because what's going to happen once all the mandates lift? Everybody's going to go back to not giving a fuck, exactly what they were before, because they are not personally inconvened by the rules and the mandates. And by the way, if you think you should be able to cross borders during a pandemic without being vaccinated, I mean, that's kind of stupid. I mean, if a country so these protests are essentially anti-democratic, because majority of the people think that during the peak of a pandemic, when you're crossing borders to the heavily unvaccinated United States that you should be vaccinated in order to come back to Canada. I mean, like, that's such a little thing to ask for, and that's actually quite reasonable. So it's interesting what these conservatives decide to talk about when it comes to freedom. Because when it comes to a freedom for a trans person to use whichever washroom they feel so comfortable using, that's, that all of a sudden they don't care about freedom anymore. Okay, despite the fact that there are a lot more white terrorists than trans people raping people in whatever bathrooms they go in. So maybe it's time to have some inward reflection about what's going on with us, and not and maybe this trans panic is getting a little out of hand. And meanwhile, fucking every time I see a news story where there's a mass shooting, it's probably likely some white right wing brainwashed fucking unfuckable piece of shit who just fucking just can't fucking get beyond his fucking his pathetic grievances with life and has to take it out on other people. So, and I was initially skeptical about this, about the trans, about like what's going to happen with trans people in the bathrooms, and it's all very new to me. And I'm very just hetero. I have no attraction to men or men dressed like women. I just men at all. I am very much just a straight hetero male. But I mean, I can't deny the reality that we're not really seeing the things that people were afraid of happen. In that there was a lot too much panic about something that has turned out to be not a problem. I mean, just not seeing that. Where are these Buffalo Bills? Where are these people? Like, we're just not seeing the story. The stories pop up. Meanwhile, every other story in the news. Oh, whiny white unlaid piece of shit fucking kills fucking 10 school children because he couldn't get laid. Oh, wow. Okay. Where, and meanwhile, okay, that's because trans people had to use a wash, or wanted to use a washroom that they wanted to use. Give me a fucking break, okay? Such fucking horseshit. Whew. And another bullshit hysteria thing that I want to kind of poke and prod. Now, AOC. AOC is very interesting. Now, coming from me, like, okay, I'm not super liberal. I do believe in liberal principles, like just being chill until something is like, I'm principally a liberal, but I'm like fiscally conservative. But I'm speaking that from like the Canadian perspective. American perspective is like, I think I might feel a little bit different. I think I might like, American is almost like they're almost too. I don't want to be at the level that like America is at with like with freedoms. Okay, as I've stated before, I think libertarianism is dead, and that you do need laws. And I mean, you can't have just unfettered libertarianism, and you can't have unfettered socialism. And many of the things that the right is in favor of are very socialist ideas, like having the like cops check your ID before you vote, or having these strict voting laws, like cops stop and searching you, like many other scenarios where you can point out that the right is very much against your liberties. But AOC, I find, is an interesting person. You know what? I really got a lot of respect for her when she said that she does not uh, invest in crypto and she does not trade in stocks because she felt like that would be a like that would somehow make her biased in what she's doing when like because she is in the Senate or and that makes like that really struck me. I'm just like, that is somebody who has principles. That is someone who, and to not, to see Nancy Pelosi, who probably was a lot of the reason why a lot of the companies are successful in giving and getting to the level that they are at. Seeing somebody who is completely and transparently doing insider trading and or creating the laws that, and while she's investing in companies that, oh hey, all of a sudden this company is successful, and you know and oh hey, this prominent politician is invested in this company. You know what? I fucking respect that. I respect that about her, that she is so grounded in her principles that she is not willing to own stocks or crypto, that she just looks at the facts of the matter, and and that she's so principled that that is something that grounds her first, and that is amazing. That is honorable. You cannot look at that and say, wow, like that is something that's bad. If all politicians were grounded, if all American politicians were grounded in those sort of principles, America would be much better off for that, in my opinion. And now the last little thing I want to say is, like, a recent story came up about AOC, where hey, look, she's in the first class seat, and the in hating her for being like a limousine liberal. I think this is done. I think, like, this era of pointing out, like, oh hey, a liberal didn't ride to work on a bike, is and so they're against, so they're not principled in what they want in their governance, is kind of horseshit. Now, this is kind of like the right complaining the problem, or creating the problem that they are complaining about, because they're the ones who give out the death threats to her constantly, and then they're the ones who are also complaining that she's flying in first class. I wonder why she is staying away from most of you fucking psychopaths who are going to confront her, call her a Nazi, say she's a socialist, whatever, even though, like, she's grounded principally a lot better than more than most of the politicians in the United States of America. So, while I don't want to speak out of hand, because I just like let's not get too carried away with talking about what America should do. I'm more interested in what my country should do, and how my country should the steps my country needs to take to be better. So I'm not going to harp on it too much, other than the fact that I respect a politician that is grounded principally, and that it is refreshing to see, and that we need more of it. Ugh, politics. All right, so let's have a couple, like, fun stories before we finish things off here. So, did you guys try the new Cool Ranch Flaming Hot Doritos? my God, they are really good. Um, man, like I was like, I like spicy things, but not like too spicy where it's like fucking burning your mouth. Now, the Cool Ranch is like, I love that flavor, but the Flaming Hot just gives it like a nice little kick to it. Now, they are hot. It's not as hot as like I love the Dynamite chili lime little Dynamite Doritos. Those I find are really good. A lot of people find them too spicy, but I would recommend if you get the Cool Ranch Flaming Hot Doritos to to get a dip with it, just in case. Now, I found the dip went great with it. It went really good with it. But for the dynamite, for the dynamite chili lime Cool Ranch, or for the dynamite chili lime Doritos, I needed a dip with it because they're just like I can only eat like 10 of them before I start to get dragon breath. So if you're like things that are a little bit spicy, not too spicy, I would definitely check them out. Definitely worth it. Okay, what's another thing? Okay, now so there's someone talking about giving the double bird. Now I think like the flipping the bird versus flipping the single bird. Now, I think that if you flip someone the single bird, that's more offensive. I think like somebody getting flipped off like with a single bird is like fuck you, is like a direct fuck you. I think the double bird is like more playful. That's like ha ha ha, fuck you guys, fuck anybody. I'm that's like you know, flipping the single bird is like what I would do if I were at the Canadian truckers protest and I seen the idiot that I seen that said this is North Korea. I would flip him the single bird. Now, if I had just like, you know, won the lottery or something and I'm like getting like and I'm getting like carted off like and I'm about to board a private jet, and I would double birds. Hey, fuck everybody! I'm the best. So I think the double bird is like more playful. Where like I think the double bird is like ha ha ha, fuck you guys, and the single bird is like a direct fuck you. What do you guys think? I would personally take much less offense to a double bird than a single bird. Now, I don't know. Has anybody got super offended by two birds? Kill two birds, one stone. No. Um, other thing, another thing I wanted to talk about, which has been I've heard many people bring this subject up before, and I want to kind of find out maybe some angles that that they aren't quite pursuing in in this debate. Now, okay, so it's the onion rings versus French fries debate. Now, a lot of people are in the pro French fries camp, and I can understand why. But I just want to point out that they are wrong. That onion rings are usually always better than French fries. So, where we're getting it wrong is that often onion rings get put in the same packaging as the French fries. So the packaging is not any different. But onion rings are kind of bulky and cumbersome, and they don't really fit well into like small packaging. French fries are very like uniform and very even and very non-clunky. So I think that a lot of people are upset at the debate for the wrong reasons. I feel like if there were an even distribution of onion rings to